Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bethesda Unpatched. This is episode number 5. I am Joe the Wigit, and I am joined by the extraordinary space trucker of awesomeness, Kilo.
Wow, that's pretty good. I like that. You didn't say nothing about my goatee this week, though.
No, I'm mixing it up slight ways every week.
Before
Just
the
a little
show,
bit.
I showered, I shaved, everything. You didn't notice.
Aw. And I'm all looking ragged.
Like you don't even see me anymore.
In my ESO developer shirt.
Okay, I see that.
And we are, as you guys see on the video, we are joined by someone this week. We're trying to get a guest on every other week for the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
And this week, we have the guy that we've been talking about periodically on the show for the last, 2 or 3 episodes? Metal of Ship and Pilot.
Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Long time listener, first time caller.
You appeared on the show.
If you haven't heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was joined in the open chat during one of our recordings, and he's also the guy who did our network logo as well as our podcast artwork. Which
is a huge thank you for that, by the way. I know we've said it before, but it's officially on the air. Thank you.
No problem. It's the fun part of what we do.
One of the formats that Kilo and I have been talking about is we are doing a guest every other episode, and those in between where it's just us, we're going to do a live recording on our Discord, and people can come in, watch, hang out, maybe talk a little bit with us. So that's something you're interested in. We do have our Discord information in our link tree. Get that information at the end of the podcast, or if you're on YouTube, it's right there in the comments.
That's true.
We do have some news. We're going to dive into that first because there's some depressing things and some interesting things going on. And let's just get into it.
Yeah, we're just going to make this, I think I'm going to shoot for a shit sandwich. So the bad stuff's going to be in the middle, and we're going to start light, and we're going to end light. First of all, so some keen-eyed observers who were watching the Fallout TV show figured out through determining.
I get you're going at. It's like determining like her kill count, her quest rank.
Yeah.
XP.
They calculated her kill count, her experience that she would get for discovering locations, and the different things that she did on the show. And they calculated Lucy's level in the Fallout TV show to be somewhere around level 8 heading into season 2.
That's fantastic. I would have guessed 12. What about...
Well,
I forgot all their characters' names. Clearly the ghoul, I forgot his name. Mm-hmm. He has to be in his at least 30 or 40.
Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And
he's got to be up there a ways because he's been around for 220 years.
The Brotherhood of Steel dude, he's about equal, maybe a couple levels higher than her.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a noob.
Yeah. I mean, he was an apprentice or a bag carrier for them.
Yeah, he was a page. Or a squire. He was a squire. Nice squire. Yep. So that's, I thought that was kind of fun. Definitely, another thing that the article talks about, this is from PC Gamer, is what we're looking forward to in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, me personally, New Vegas, Wolf brought this out last week, and the big question is, what is New Vegas going to be like now? Because the Fallout TV show takes place 7 years after the events of Fallout 4 in Boston, which is also later than New Vegas, obviously.
Yeah.
So, is New Vegas going to be run by House? Is it going to be independent? Is it going to be run by Courier 6?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't even have a guess. We're going to see
the Enclave.
Because I know nothing about New Vegas. First admit
You're talking to two guys in play, right?
Yeah. So it's all you, buddy. It's 100% your stage.
Yeah.
Well, but I watched the TV show.
You watched the TV show?
I did. I watched it.
Which was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. It was really well done. And as a Fallout fan, like a huge Fallout fan, it was awesome. And I'm looking forward to see what's coming up. We did talk about this before. I don't know if we want to stick to it. We talked about this in our previous show. If we're going to lead up doing an episode a week leading up to the release of season 2.
Yeah, we have talked about that. Yeah, I don't see why not.
I would love to still do that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I just, yeah.
I'm
We should
game.
do that. So look for that in like late September, early
And
October.
I got to say,
I also want to.
watching.
What's that? Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say my favorite character watching the TV show. Did you guys watch Superstore? I love Superstore.
Yes, I did.
The comedy.
Yes.
Dude that played Bo in
No.
Superstore had a big piece in Fallout. He played like the squire, like the guy who was the bully in the beginning, and then he was a squire. I love
Oh,
that guy.
yeah.
He's freaking hilarious.
There was.
I would like, because we haven't seen
Yeah,
aliens
he
yet.
was in there, of course. Yeah, I remember him
Was it
now.
aliens?
In the Fallout games, there are aliens. They're called Zedans. In Fallout 3, there's a whole DLC, Mothership Zeta. There's an alien crash in Fallout 4. They definitely exist in the universe. I would like to see if maybe they show up in the show, even as a passing little thing. That'd be cool.
Yeah, he's.
All right. So,
Anyway, moving on.
go ahead. Moving on. We're getting lost in the cast. Ella Purnell, by the way, in Arcane is amazing. I love that woman. So there is something new coming to Steam players for Vault 76. There appears to be a camp building and combat public test server that's available to Steam players that you can check out. And the camp system is supposed to be like a lot more lax, not quite as rigid as far as the requirements.
There's a lot of restrictions currently in the camp building. Very limited size. I would love to see them actually increase the size of your camp radius, like leveling it up somehow. Because right now it's a very small space, but it's still great. I just, and it's kind of a pain in the neck to build in there, to be honest. If they can improve that, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I would. I still haven't. I don't know, man. I'm having a hard time with MMOs this week, but I would really love to get into it. They also mentioned that there's going to be a rework of the workshop menu with history category,
Okay.
which is new, recent, blueprinted, and stored. Okay, now hang on a second, because now that I'm looking at this, blueprinted.
Mm-hmm.
Starfield, can we get blueprinted?
Exactly.
history?
We've been wanting blueprints for forever.
Oh,
Use some of
dude,
that.
that would be
Especially for ship
amazing.
builds.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I have some ship designs that I'm not the best at it, but there's a couple that I made in the past that I absolutely loved and would love to have them again. But rebuilding them, easier said than done. As a Fallout
And
76
then,
player, avid player, and fan of the
Yeah.
game, these new changes they're coming up with, especially I'm really curious about the combat changes, are exciting. And the fact
Yeah.
that they're going to be doing, it's all over the news recently, is this big, like the biggest update ever is being teased at for Fallout 76.
Yeah, that's what we keep hearing about. And I know there's some talk. There's also some talk about the fishing update, the game's resurgence, and possible next gen update for 76.
Yeah, next gen update. That's what everyone's talking about.
Yep, this is on Shack News. Did I say that right? Yeah, Shack News. Shack, like what you would build, not like the basketball player.
Right.
To clarify. So what is the timeline for the official Xbox Series XS PS5 update for Fallout 6? And is it similar to what Fallout 4 received last year? Cost, creative director John Rush and production director Bill Lacoste. This was part of the interview. I'm a professional.
Yeah.
Lacoste
tell.
said we want to make sure. Said I can't give you any dates, but I will say that is in the plans to have a PlayStation 5 and a Series S and X version. We want to make sure that we're also keeping up with the tech that's available to us and making the game look better, play better, be faster, all that stuff, and be more optimized. So for all the news that we've heard about Bethesda this week, they do certainly appear to be committing to longevity as far as Fallout 76 is concerned.
Mm-hmm. ESO and
that's
Fallout
always
76 are definitely in their roadmap for future content updates
Yeah, well, I got some
for the foreseeable
fucking notes
future.
on-
Yeah.
I got some notes on ESO right now. Anyways, yeah, so I guess we'll get into this now.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you haven't heard yet, there have been mass layoffs across Microsoft and Xbox. Across roughly 200,000 employees, got about 9,000 losing their jobs. It's led to a lot of canceled projects under Microsoft and Bethesda as well. Bethesda Softworks, of course, is the studio that works alongside game studios, and it seems that they typically handle the outside developer stuff. There's been a lot of games that funding has been pulled from, and one of the things that has been shut down is ZeniMax Online has canceled an unannounced MMO, which was codenamed Blackbird. It was supposed to be a new sci-fi IP. It was in pre-production, looking good.
It was in development alongside Starfield for the longest time. I heard all the rumors and stuff like that about it, and it looked interesting. It wasn't a part of the Starfield universe, but they wanted to use that sci-fi feel for it and be a looter shooter, basically.
It's sad.
It was in development since like 2018, wasn't it? 2017.
Earlier.
2018 is when the article said. InsiderGaming.com. It could have been earlier. I'm sure there was talk before it became officially a project.
Sorry, I didn't jump into it completely, but the way it looked is like Microsoft overall was shutting down arms of the company that hadn't really generated any revenue. Like there was a lot of things that had long development that really hadn't shown anything.
Yep.
So I guess what I'm taking from that is that, Starfield, even though people want to, keep on the Starfield hate, it actually has been a profitable game, right? Despite what the a few Steam reviews say, and then you take a look at what they didn't cut from. I think is probably more important than what they did cut from in this regard to obviously the people who lost their jobs, all that good stuff. I think that's important. But if you take a look at what they didn't cut from, right?
Well, and some of the and that's a good barometer too. We didn't hear anything about developers from Starfield necessarily or directly, or any of the main titles of Bethesda, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, what have you. But there are, there's a couple of rough ones in there. There's Romero Studios, which was previously an indie developer that was working on something for Bethesda Softworks that, they started their business in 2015. It was just a husband and wife operation in the beginning. It's going to be felt. Developer studios that worked on COD for Microsoft that, also being laid off. And related or unrelated, ZeniMax Online director Matt Ferror also resigned.
Freuer, yeah. That's sad. I knew Matt personally. He's a really, really good guy. He did an amazing job with ESO.
It's unfortunate, but he did leave a letter that you can find really anywhere online at this point, talking about his separation and how he's leaving ESO in good hands moving forward. So wish the best to everybody that was affected by these layoffs. I'm from Detroit, so we've seen that a lot with the auto manufacturers out here. More than once, it can be really rough. So best of luck to everybody dealing with that. Now that we got all that out of the way, I'm trying to talk to this guy. I'm trying to get a hold of this guy, Robert House. It's not really Robert House. It's his pseudonym that he uses on Facebook, apparently. I have messaged you. If you're listening to this, the Wasteland Architect, I'm trying to get a hold of you because he's at it again. Again, in the Fallout group on Facebook, he posted a build. And again, I got the two worst dudes here for this, but in Fallout 4, he built Tenpenny Tower from Fallout 3.
I'm putting it on the screen right now for our YouTube watchers, and that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
It's a massive high rise. It is faithful. So I'm like, all right, dude. Like, this is the second one I've seen like this from this guy. Check out the Wasteland Architect on YouTube because he has a bunch of different Fallout 76 builds as well. He's got all kinds of videos with all this stuff that he built. It's absolutely crazy. Robert, if you can hear this, contact Kilo, contact the show, go to our link tree, Weird Chaos Media, get a hold of us because we definitely want to get you on the show. It's absolutely amazing what this guy does.
Before we get out of the news, I want to go over this recent update for Fallout 76 really quick, a little bit more. As I was reading through it, and as an avid 76 player, and I know we have a lot of listeners that do as well.
For sure.
How they're doing I'm just going to hit some highlights here. For instance, when you're doing your camp, your foundations, most of the pieces you need to build, like walls and pillars, stuff like that, all require a foundation. These no longer require a foundation. So they can be free built without having to put foundations everywhere. Yeah. That's
free floating,
huge.
No support. Yeah.
Power cables can now be built even if the cable intersects with another object. Also huge. The placement restrictions have been mostly lifted. So while there are still some items that require ground placing, crops, extractors, things like that, placement restrictions have been loosened for others, and allowing you to place them freely. Yes, that means in the air too. And the combat changes are insane. I was looking at this. One of the big ones they're balancing right now is the LMG. It's being buffed across the board with multiple receivers to change the caliber from 5.56, 308 to 445. It's getting a damage increase, less recoil. It's going to be a weapon, and balancing is way too much for me to talk on the air, but the combat changes basically affect every single weapon in the game, weapon type. It's crazy. The highlights, though, are a smaller cone of fire, reduced recoil, additional shots can be fired without reaching peak recoil. Cone of fire now increases less as a result of moving. So reduced cone of fire while crouching and sneaking, which makes sense, and I love that because I'm still a sneaker sniper constantly, no matter what I do, it seems. Spin-up weapons like the minigun and Gatling laser now have reduced recoil after firing for a short period of time. So there's a lot of good changes going on.
Cranking a lot of stuff up.
Yeah, everything. Pistols, revolvers, shotguns, submachine guns, single-shot rifles, ballistic heavy weapons, laser and plasma weapons, and explosives.
You know what this kind of reminds me of, Wigit?
What's that?
Something you would actually know something about. This reminds me kind of like Unearthed Arcana.
Yeah.
In D&D. Whenever WotC wanted to put something out, like we're going to try something new, send it out to playtest, it is always ridiculously overpowered. It is usually completely ludicrous, but then they eventually dial it back for when it's actually published. So is this just trying to, like, why the overpower in this Steam test, in this play test?
They're even putting a lot of heavy focus on melee, especially weapon bashing. Weapon bashing got heavily increased, upwards of 100% or more. That's crazy. Weapon ranges have also been adjusted.
From a developer perspective,
yeah,
what are we looking at here? Like, what's the goal of the test?
They're rebalancing the game. Okay. They feel like combat is not properly balanced, and I can agree with that because I see most players will be running around with certain particular types of weapons, and that's the vast majority, especially high level. So they're trying to get it to where they're going to balance out to where every weapon type is going to become viable at end game.
Okay.
So no matter how you like to play, you'll still be considered viable and still be able to compete with someone just minigunning the crap out of everything.
Got you. Okay, well, I mean, that makes sense. But then the build changes.
Yeah.
As far as, like...
That's something that was a little bit off kilter. I wasn't expecting that. I think they're trying to just give people more freedom. There's been a lot of complaint about the restrictions in the building. And they do build contests, things like that. This would allow a lot more creativity, and I think they're just setting it up to where players will have that creative freedom. That's a big part of the game, is that camp.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I did a couple things in my camp this week.
I said just watching that pendulum swing one way, and just interested to see where it lands.
Yeah, I'm really curious about this playtest. I might join it.
Okay,
I'm gonna have to play. You've sold me. I'm in.
Oh, Final 76 is amazing. I love that game. Well, before we get into our plays, we're gonna have a little discussion with our guest. He is the spotlight for this episode, and like usual,
he is indeed. I'm
gonna let my partner in crime kick it off.
You can't say partner in crime on video, man.
Oh,
this is gonna be out on the internet forever.
Right? We're gonna be investigated. Investigated for creating a podcast.
A lot of that going around.
It'd be nice to have that kind of attention. Metal, how's it going, man? So hey, the first question I ask all the guests: what is your favorite Bethesda title? and why?
Oh man, I mean, like I think I gotta say, I think I gotta say Skyrim. I mean, like, and
Skyrim.
only because it's the OG, right?
I wasn't
Like, for
expecting
me,
that,
anyway,
and I
that's
love
what
that
really
answer.
got me.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Good answer.
You thought I was gonna say Starfield, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, I played more. I played more Starfield than probably Skyrim overall, but I think Skyrim's nostalgic for me. Number one, because
Mm-hmm.
I started playing it with my boys
Oh,
who were
yeah.
into it back when it came out. What was it, 2011 when it first came out?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so I remember going to, my God, GameStop with the boys and getting it, coming home, playing it, and just having a good time with it. And then I never really got into the modding aspect of it or anything else. I mean, like, that was that game that I always went back to. Downloaded it, played
Right.
it, got tired of it, downloaded it again, played it, bought it on Nintendo Switch, bought it on PC, bought it on Xbox, bought it on some, I don't know, whatever else we bought it on. Um,
Yeah.
One of the
and
50
so
different editions.
yeah, exactly. So I just always went back to Skyrim. So I think that's probably what brought me into the family. Although Starfield's a very close second. I mean, what we've talked. I mean, like Starfield. There's a blank canvas in Starfield that, like, I'm more of a creative guy, so it really lends itself to that type of person, and you see that a lot.
I would never have
think
guessed.
within the Starfield group. Yeah. Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
You have a little guest that wants to say a few things apparently on your mic.
Dude,
Who's that?
and you can edit
Fly.
this out, but so I'm in my office at the brewery, and we open the doors, and they're attracted to, like, all the yeast and the hops and all that kind of stuff that we're dumping back
yeah.
there. And then also we have farmers picking up grain in back, and the flies, like, they just love
Eat it
grain.
up.
So, like, around this time of year, it's like, oh, they're everywhere.
Oh,
It's killer.
I bet.
So,
That's
yeah,
fun.
just no, well, not really, but
So tell us a little bit about you. We know that you're obviously artistic. What's your background? You work at a brewery. Have you always done this? What'd you do before? How'd you end up doing what you do for Ship and Pilot?
happenstance. I mean, yeah. So I mean, like, yes, I've been in the beer, wine, and spirits industry for 25, going on 25 years. So that's always been, the day job. But I got involved with graphic design a long time ago, just because it was something that I always loved doing, and started doing freelance stuff. So it's always been something that I do on the side. But then when we opened the brewery, I ended up designing all of our beer labels. So, and I kind of learned out of necessity. I mean, before I was a hack, but then when I started doing graphic design, because it's not just the beer labels, it's the flyers and then the social media and all the stuff that you need to design. And, when you own a logo and you want it to look a certain way, you have standards that you want met. And it's hard
Yeah,
to
of
convey
course.
those to the average person or whoever. Like, if you're hiring a random graphic designer, I mean, like, we tried at first, like, telling them what we wanted, and we never really got what we actually had in our heads. So I learned out of necessity there, and then have always just freelanced and played around. And then all of a sudden Starfield came around, and I think started messing around with that, got into shipbuilding like kind of everybody else did, got on Reddit and saw what people were putting out. I mean, like, it was just shipbuilding. It was like all the fiction and all the
Oh yeah, people can really get into
everything
the
that
background
everybody was
stories
sharing.
of what they're doing, especially in Starfield. I've seen that more than any other game, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I
Well,
think
mentioned
that's
that
what
on-
we talked
mentioned
about.
that on a previous. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that on previous podcasts. That it's the strength of Starfield is the fact that it is this blank slate, and that you can really role play outside of the main game.
They took the RPG literally
Yeah.
and slammed it in there.
Well, I think that's the when you talk about what people are doing, they're building in game and they're bringing it outside the game. And then, so I've always viewed, like, when I did the first iteration of Ship and Pilot, it was just kind of like, I had some time. It was middle of the winter, nothing going on, and so I did do some off roading, and you've seen Polaris razors. You know what those are? Like,
Yeah.
side by sides, like the
Yep.
They have these buyer guides, and these buyer guides have just cool pictures of 4-wheelers, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, what if we take one of those and put a spaceship in it and do a buyer's guide for a spaceship? So that was really the first thing that I did. And it went crazy. People went nuts over it. And so then I started playing around with it, threw Ship and Pilot together. And I think what we found is that people are pulling their stuff out of the game. We're putting it, we're kind of tying it in Ship and Pilot to maybe the stuff that you're putting in the game or pulling out of the game, and then the stuff that other people are pulling out of the game.
Right.
It's kind of weaving the story, and then it feels like you're still part of the game. So it's a different way to consume Starfield.
Right.
It's not necessarily the game, right? So
I think it's unique. It kind of reminds me of back when I was in high school. BattleTech.
Okay.
That was my stuff back in BattleTech, and my favorite thing to buy were the tech readouts. Right, so I would read the books, and then I'd have the tech readouts. I could not possibly be more of a big nerd. I know, but like,
welcome to the club, buddy.
It's like the separation from the artwork, but you're still engaging with the artwork, just in a way that feels more visceral, more almost tactile. It puts a different spin on it. I think it gives it a different kind of life. A lot, kind of like how Ship and Pilot is doing exactly that. Only in this case, people are adding to the narrative.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, look, Starfield. I mean, like if you were to take probably a demographic of Starfield and ask, like you kind of look to see what the average age of Starfield players were. It's probably, that 35 to 45, maybe 50, 55 age group.
It is.
And it's all people who subscribe to Nintendo Power.
Yep.
Right?
You're not kidding.
I did.
You're not kidding. Yep, I did too. And in my Starfield Shipyards group, I looked at the demographics because it's a pretty good sized community itself. People get salty because we don't allow mods in that group, but I looked at the demographic, and most of them were literally, the majority of our membership was between 35 and 55. That was the majority, and there was more that were older than that than there were younger than that.
Yeah, I think
it's an old man's game.
That's
I guess.
Yeah, maybe, I guess, but I think it really, again, it's that group of people that, you do want to interact. There's sometimes I play the game, which is great, but then there's sometimes I just don't want to play the game, and I do want to be involved with the lore, the fiction, or the role play aspect of it, and that's where, we talk about the magazine. That's where that kind of comes into play, and the number of people that have been open to it. I guess it was kind of lightning in the bottle. I was not expecting to have the uptake that we had. Like I say we, it's me, but I have a lot of there are people who jump on and want to help out and send me content all the time. And it's amazing. It really was like lightning in a bottle. All of a sudden, it just took off, and it almost became it was overwhelming, and it still is overwhelming, but in a good way. Not a lot of assholes. A lot of really great people who just want to interact a little bit more, who want their information and their fiction. They want to bring it to light. And I will say this: the biggest issue that we face, or that I face, is getting people to tone down the AI. Because one of the things, if you read the articles, most people don't. They look at the pictures, which, of course. But if you actually read the articles, I write all that, and I don't use AI, because you can tell when somebody sends me something that's written by AI. It's very obvious, and it doesn't feel. It's like the uncanny valley. That's a
not quite
visual thing, but it's there in text as well, and you can feel it, you can see it. And so we try really not to do a lot of AI stuff. So that's the
I could respect that highly.
Well,
AI drives me
mine
nuts.
I wrote by hand. Just for the record, mine was written by hand.
Good.
I did not.
I'm an author, and I wrote 2 books by hand. That was way before AI. It's a lot better than what AI can do.
You can tell, right?
There's a human element in the composition of the words that just can't really be duplicated. It's like It's the same thing like trying to get AI to write music. Like, yeah, you probably find something that sounds pretty decent, but it's not going to have that same
Soul.
Doesn't have
feel,
creativity.
soul. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, there's a big miss. You can definitely feel it.
Oh yeah. So my next question is, okay, now you have Ship and Pilot, which where can people find Ship and Pilot if they want to look at it?
So mainly on Reddit. So like, here's the thing with Ship and Pilot, it's very user generated. So people write content, they submit it to me, and then I weave it in. Most of the time, I try and weave the backstory and put it all together. We don't charge for it, so I put it out on Reddit. It's free. I host it on a site called Flip HTML5, and that's an e-zine flipbook site. And that's great. It does what we want because it simulates the magazine.
Sure.
But it doesn't. The problem with it is that there's a big fee to host it, and so you get all these ads and all the other stuff that make it a little bit difficult to read on mobile. But if you have a PC or you didn't, so it didn't bother you at all. Like, are you looking on your phone?
Yeah, the one you sent me.
Okay.
It was ads. It was Flip HTML, but it wasn't really. It didn't really. I just kind of ignored it. Just kept on going.
Just didn't bother you.
Bed.
And I think most people are kind of immune to it now. But it drives me nuts, especially when you're talking about a visual medium, and I want people to see it in the art form that it was intended for, which is the magazine.
Right, of course. Right.
And then you see a pop up for, I don't know, whatever shows up, like pants or whatever. It drives me nuts. So the whole goal, like, you can get all the episodes. You can get all the issues if you go to our Reddit and look at it's the Ship and Pilot, our Ship and Pilot subreddit. But in the sidebar, you can actually see and link to all the issues from issue number 1. I think we're going on 6. I think this will be number 6. So you can link to those on Reddit, but then you can also just look up Ship and Pilot on Flip HTML5. If you follow, look, if you get on Reddit, you'll see all of our stuff. So it's pretty easy to access it.
Tell me this real quick. How the hell did you go from making, first of all, brewer, graphic designer, making fictionalized car and driver for Starfield, and then now you made a mod. So tell us a little bit about that. How did that happen?
Stupidity and just being a glutton for punishment. I mean, have you guys tried to mod yet? Do you guys?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. All right.
Widget would know more about this than me.
All right, Widget. It's a kick in the dick. I mean, just
it
to
is.
be straight down. It is the worst thing ever. It's terrible. Like, listen. So the reason why. So again, being a creative guy and wanting, like, building a brand is what I feel like I'm doing with Ship and Pilot, and not just not a brand, but I mean, like, something that is with Starfield, right? And you want as many ways to consume your brand as possible. So we have a Ship and Pilot Spotify, like when you flip on, when you put your headphones on and you're listening to music, we've got a Ship and Pilot playlist. We've got a Ship and Pilot online store. We've got all this stuff that you can access Ship and Pilot through. And so we kept getting these comments like, man, can I read this in the game? I'm like, well, no, you can't read books in the game. And would you really want to? But then I thought, it would be cool to collect the magazines in the game. And then I thought, because it is user generated, like all the content. So like if you submitted a ship to me and it made the cover, it would be cool to be able for you to pick that up in game, or for somebody in Hawaii.
Dope. Yeah.
Pick it up in game and to see that information. So if you actually, we can get into this. So I deleted the other mod and re-uploaded a new mod. So there's a new version now because I couldn't get the other one to work. Right.
Okay.
Based on your wonky flight controls, which we can talk about.
That was
fun. But now when you pick up a magazine, or when you pick up the issue, it will actually, in the text, it will tell you the name of the ship, the fictional manufacturer from the user, and then it'll actually give you the user's subreddit, or I'm sorry, the username on Reddit, the Reddit handle of the guy who created it, so you can go and look up more of his stuff. So again, it's a way to throw back to the people who are actually creating stuff.
Yeah.
It's a way to put that in other people's
amazing.
games.
That is so cool.
So it's meta, right? I mean, like
Yep.
it's like taking out of the game and then messing with it and putting it back into the game. I just didn't realize how freaking hard putting together a stupid magazine mod was going to be. And it literally, when I tell you that it has eaten up hours of my life, like I'm behind. Like I need to publish the magazine this weekend, and I still have like 2 big articles to write. So it's going to be an all-nighter tonight and tomorrow to try and get this done, because I've been dicking around with the mod. And you know, like the other problem with the mods is that there's not a lot of support. I mean, like there is help, but it's not exactly. I mean, like it's really hard to figure out exactly what's wrong with your mod, because mod and Wigit, you can attest to this, but a mod is like putting together a puzzle, and then you find the piece and you go put it in, and you've got your puzzle. You turn around to get another piece, and you look back and half your puzzle is gone.
You'll say like, yeah, 5 or 6 pieces just got bent, ripped, torn.
Yeah, I mean, like, and it's nonstop. So,
a great analogy is you put your puzzle piece in, you finally get that one piece, and you pop it in, and 7 pop out.
That sounds about right. So is there anything else that you would like to talk about or promote or plug? Here's your chance to get it out there on the air.
The opportunity. No, listen, I appreciate everybody that sends in content more so than anything. I mean, like following us, following the magazine or subscribing to the magazine. We have some hosting things that we're trying to do. So we do have a Buy Me a Coffee site where you can log on and become a subscriber, and then we call it like a certified shipwright or a ship enthusiast, where you can just donate some cash, and that gives you a profile in the magazine. So you'll see it at the end of the magazine each month. You'll see the founders list, and we put it on a data slate, and then they all have their profile, and you can put whatever you want on there. But it helps because we're working towards getting it hosted on a clean site versus having all the ad pop-ups and all that good stuff. Outside of that, I love content. So there's ways to submit, like again through our Reddit. If you look at the sidebar, there's a way to submit your ship, and you're like most guys. I'm finding role play this fictional ship company. Like usually, like not most, but a lot of people will get in and build a bunch of ships, and we call it Space Lego. But they build ships and they have a manufacturer, a fake manufacturer. So send that over. I will help build the story behind it, and then we do like a manufacturer's spotlight and all that kind of stuff. So any kind of content like that, I love to get it from everybody and put it in the magazine. So we can't have enough.
Awesome, great. Well, Metal, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. You feel free to hang out. We're gonna go ahead and keep going with the show, and you're welcome to chime in.
Yeah,
right.
Talk whenever you want. But I'm going to talk about Fallout 76.
Okay.
That's just. But the thing is like I thought I was going to have a lot more Fallout 76 time, like I have been the last few weeks. But then Starfield reeled me in, pun intended.
So I
had
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
You've been fishing.
Lots
of fishing.
When I started out this week, okay, so in order to get your upgraded reel, to get the Mark II, Mark III, or Mark IV, you have to go through these fishing challenges.
Sure.
I was working on the second one, and I had one fish left to catch. I had to be a piranha, and it can only be caught in the forest region, which is the rare fish for the forest region. So I have my little hut right next to a river in the forest region. So that was just a win right there. And then I know that in order for you, I kept constantly logging in, seeing if I can catch it where it's raining. That's gives you higher odds of catching these fish.
Right, you're saying that.
Then I remembered that there's little things called weather stations that you can put into your camp.
Oh?
That will change the weather only in your camp. So if anyone's running by and they suddenly run through it, it'll be either like a thunderstorm or snowing suddenly, wherever you're at, and it's only in your camp region. Yeah.
Okay.
And I
didn't know that
remembered
was a thing.
I had 2 of them I unlocked in my previous plays. I had the calm weather one, and which is the free one everyone gets, and the thunderstorm one. So I immediately went to my benches or I went to the build menu. Sure enough, I had just enough stuff. Plopped it down there. Figured out how to wire it after swearing a few dozen times. And as soon as you power it up, thunder hits, and it's just pouring rain constantly in my camp now. So I just went over to the edge and started fishing again. And it occurred to me after I caught the second one, the first glowing fish I ever caught was the piranha I'm trying to catch. Apparently, the glowing version does not count towards the achievement. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is weird, but it doesn't. I caught a second glowing piranha.
Okay.
Before I actually finally caught the actual piranha itself. And was able to get my Mark II reel. And the new challenge is even more of a pain in the neck. Because these fish you have to catch are extremely challenging without having the right, attachments to your rod. And I don't, and I can't until I finish them. Then I can get the right attachment, but it's already done. It's possible, though. It's a pain in the neck. I mean, it took me several tries to reel in a piranha, but I got him. Oh, and I
Curious
did it.
about the fishing mechanic.
I've explained it a little bit on the air. It's very, very simplistic. I mean, obviously the fact you have your rod that you can fully upgrade, customize, things like that. Almost every aspect of it. I have a little rocket ship bobber for Nuka-Cola. You go up to any water source, you just hit R to start fishing. Your guy gets his rod out and just sits there, and you hit E. Well, you select whatever bait. There's 3 different types of bait. Common, advanced. Yeah, I forget. I think advanced is the top one. There's one in the middle, too. You hit E to cast, and your guy just plops it right in the water and sits there and watch it bob until it goes underneath. And as soon as it goes underneath, you hit E, and you're suddenly in a little mini game where it brings up this radar in the corner of your screen with the symbol of the fish, and you got to match your radar with the fish and try to hold it in there as the fish is going all over the place like a psychopath until you reel it in. It's a simple mini game, but it's
right on.
Somewhat fun. It's ridiculously fun for some weird reason. It's simple. And the fact I can get new legendaries and stuff like that from the giant crab with a boat for a butt.
So what's this? I see something else coming up next on your notes here. I definitely want to talk about.
I went to Atlantic City.
Okay, cool.
And I didn't know about this stuff yet. Okay, so I didn't write down what they're called. What the heck is wrong with me? But they're like these, there's a specific quest. You go in there, and you get this quest. Even if you don't have a quest to start with, you'll get a quest when you get into the city. Same with Pittsburgh. And I did this quest. When I got in there, I had to talk to this dude. This, like, mafia dude, Mr. Belt Buckle. Because he's got belt buckles, like, all over him. 9 or 10 belts. Go in and talk to him, and I got to go help him with his casino. I have to go get these listening bugs taken care of, planted all over the casino, and I got this little meter that tells me when I'm getting close. Well, his buddy, Two Toes, or whatever the heck his name is, this, like, 2-bit mobster, wants me to go get the caps out of his altered slot machines, which was a screwdriver jammed into it, and it was frizzing out. I had to go loot all those. I had to turn on the security system and little things like that. Going around this casino with all these mobsters wanting to kill you. And I had 1,600 caps, 1,700 caps when I went into the casino. I left with 900.
Okay, that's on brand.
Yeah, it's right. And the ironic thing is that there's this one giant, I put a picture of it on Discord, of this one giant slot machine that costs 100 caps, and it's got a big devil on it. I looked over at my lady and was like, hey, you come here and spin it. Because I was losing.
Okay.
Like usual, She hits E, it reels up, big winner, 250 caps. There's this horse racing one also near there that was a lot of fun, like those mechanical horse races. You got to choose 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and you pick your lane, and every lane I picked got second place. Every single time. And that was 100 caps per shot, and they have like different variants of regular slot machines from 10 caps up to 250 caps, I think was the biggest one I saw. Yeah, I should not have done that. Because I lost a lot of
Amazing.
money. But it was fun. And the quest was a lot of fun. And the boss that you have to fight, this rival mobster, I had to fight him twice, by the way. But he has an insane amount of health, has power armor, and takes forever to kill him. And you don't kill him. He goes on one knee and then vanishes. Because every time you go back in, it's both these mobsters will give you new quests to do. Sometimes it's the same quest you had to do, but with different variants in it. And you go fight him again. But when I got done and I flew back, you can't leave Atlantic City until you finish the quest.
Okay.
You're stuck in there. Because I went back a second time trying to finish this main quest, the one with the demon blood lady who's addicted to it. And it says, go to Atlantic City and meet up with whatever her name is. I went to Atlantic City and I could not find her. The quest won't update. So I think there's something wrong with that quest. Or I'm missing something. I'm going to look it up because she's not showing up. So I wound up doing the mobster quest again. And when you leave, though, you get all kinds of goodies. I was overweight when I left, barely overweight. I was extremely overweight when I landed back in Appalachia because I got 6 legendary items.
Oh.
Plus caps, plus plans, which plans is like gold to me. Teach you how to build things.
Right.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and you can do it with, I think, up to 4 people with you. Up to 3 people with you, so 4 people total. And the more people you have, the more likely you'll get better stuff. But yeah, I got 8 legendaries the first time I did it. 8. Second time, I got 6. None of them I could use. So I turned them into legendary scripts, and you get these scripts that you can turn in, and you can use those to buy, like, it'll say legendary 1-star, 2 or 3-star legendary melee weapon, range weapon, armor, or power armor. I hit range weapon every time, and I get a pistol. Like a snub-nosed pistol, like literally 9 times out of 10. So just take that, go turn it in, I have a net loss.
Jeez.
And it's just... I can't win with these things.
I'm telling you.
I haven't gone to Pittsburgh yet because I could have swore I had a quest in the mainland to go to Pittsburgh, but I can't find it. It's not in my log anymore.
I thought you mentioned something about it.
Yeah, I had one. It's not there. So I'm trying to figure that out. I do want to go to Pittsburgh. I know when I go there, it'll have a quest available for me to go there. And there's actually multiple different locations. In Atlantic City, I think there's 3 different locations you can go to.
Yeah.
And in Pittsburgh, there's 3 or 4 you can go to. And I think each one has a different quest you can do. And then after that, I started doing Rose's, the psychotic bot. Yeah.
Miss Andy.
Miss Handy, the raider Miss Handy. And I started doing her quest, and I forgot that she has actually a pretty dang sad backstory. Tragic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, about how she became who she is. Apparently, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it for you just in case you play it, but it's tragic. And I still,
Of course.
I mean, I feel bad when I kill her because I'm gonna kill her, but not just yeah.
See,
That's
all that
funny.
wackiness, all that gore, all that violence, insanity. Of course, Bethesda. It's gonna break your heart in the process, or at least try to.
Yeah.
Heartstrings.
I had to do one quest for her to go get a fixed AI core from Memorial, and there was a Deathclaw guarding it that was a 2-star legendary. Not Alpha, but yeah, Alpha Deathclaw. Standing there guarding this section on the side of a cliff, so there was no way to get around it.
Did
I
he
had
recognize
to go
you? Did he recognize you from when you tried to make friends with him?
Right.
Sees Widget roll up all this motherfucker in his sweater vest and his golf pants.
With my gas mask on. I'm a sight for sore eyes.
You're sore for sight.
I did take out that Deathclaw, though, without it ever touching me, thanks to stealth and sniping. Don't know how.
You gotta do.
It's the
I
only
did
way
it.
to play.
Yeah, a couple grenades. Finished it off. I did go back into Starfield, and I really, really wanted to finish up Watchtower. It's been heavily on my mind, so I was like, I'm going to get in there and get going on it. So I got in, and I'd finished a listening post, and I used my Kepler R, and I took all the weapons off of it, and I put on turrets, like you recommended. And so it's all facing turrets. which helped a ton, by the way. It makes a big difference. That ship was actually wrecking face. And then I came across a little problem, and that is the fact that I couldn't do anything in Watchtower with this character. My little level 22 character, or 27, I think it is. Yeah, I had to go do a couple of Watchtowers that were on my quest, the listening posts. I got to one of them, and it was, I'd say there's at least 12, 8 or 9 guys, probably 12 turrets, and a mech guarding this place. All level 68 plus, or 62 plus.
Oh, wow.
I tried an hour. My lady was watching me, laughing at it. I tried for an hour to get past it. Could not do it.
Oh, no.
So I went to the other listening post on my list, and it was level 68 plus. Just slightly less enemies.
Holy cow.
So I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I miss my main guy so much. So I went and logged back into my main character, my level 128 sniper, or 32 now.
There you go.
And I rebuilt 2 ships. Gave myself some credits because I could not afford it. And I built 2 ships and put them in there because I had the Razor Leaf, which I had just finished doing apparently on my main character. It's a brand new playthrough in my 13th Unity.
Okay.
So all I did was the Varun quest, and I did the Razor Leaf, or the Mantis quest. I had just got the Razor Leaf when I come back, so I had no ships other than my Starborn ship, Razor Leaf, the Frontier, and the Junker. Oh, I did the Escape, because that quest is amazingly fun. It's a mod that Bethesda produced, and it's like a escape room puzzle.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yep.
Highly recommend it. It's incredible.
I just when I was going and fetching crew for my ship, I just talked to the solicitor again, so I just about to start that one myself.
And I'm swearing that Bethesda has added more random encounters. I know it has to be a true fact. They sneak them in there with updates because I came across this UC survey ship I had never seen before that held me and asked me if I wanted to board. So I said, yeah. Okay. And it started taking off, flying away, so I had to chase the damn thing until I got close enough to dock onto it with a base Razor Leaf. Got in there, and it's completely crewed by robots, Model A's. They're doing some kind of like...
I thought you were going somewhere else with this.
This
is new.
This is new. I've never seen this before, and they're collecting...
I've seen a survey ship before, but this is different. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're good. They're collecting organics and plants. And they're constantly bragging about how a robot crew is so much better than human crew because they make less mistakes and they don't have to use the bathroom, things like that. Very, very interesting. I just never saw it before, so I thought that was fascinating.
That's amazing.
And they asked me if I wanted to collect or observe, but...
How many hours do you have in the game? I mean, you've got to have like...
Oh, it's 1,000? A lot. I'm just under 1,000.
Yeah. So I looked the other day, I've got like 1,600 hours in the game. And I still will come up with a random encounter that I've never seen before. So I kind of wonder sometimes if they are sneaking some things in there.
They gotta be
without everybody knowing.
Well, because when he said survey, I have been asked to come aboard, but it was a human crew, and they're asking a bunch of like random questions. Like a survey.
Yeah.
So that's where I thought he was headed with it. Then he said robot crew. What?
By survey, they're actually just collecting plants and organics across the solar system, apparently. And I don't know why. They asked me if I wanted to collect or observe. I said observe. I should have said collect. So I said observe. They're like, okay, you can watch. And they just did their own thing. With my Razor Leaf attached to it as it's flying through space. And as soon as I got done with that...
I was going to say, I bet I was about 1,100 hours in before I ever saw the mining platform. You know, the thing that's like Alien.
Yeah, I never saw that one yet.
Right, exactly.
But I'm not an explorer.
I've seen it once. I've come across one of them.
Yeah, I was going to go build my 2 ships first before I got into Watchtower, but Watchtower had a different plan. As soon as I undocked from that ship, I got attacked and got jumped right into it. So I got my new ships, one full of turrets and my main fighter. And for the first time ever, guys, I picked up crew from bars. I went to...
Oh, you finally picked someone up at a bar, huh?
I went to Constellation, and all they had there was Sarah and Vasco, because I skipped the main story. So I got those 2, and then I started going off, and I had no idea what I was doing. I just went to every bar I could find, and if they had a generic name like an engineering specialist, I ignored them. I was looking for the named ones, because those usually have better stats. I think I picked up 5 or 6 people, hired them, and brought them on to crew my ships.
Nice. Very
Yeah.
cool.
I got to get rid of the solo perk on my character because when I was originally doing this playthrough,
introvert?
Introvert. Because originally when I was doing this playthrough, I was just going to do it as a solo sniper and go kill everything and be a bad guy.
There's usually a way to get around those. You just have to look them up.
Yeah, there's a way to get it.
Most of them, there's a way to cancel it out. Yeah.
But I have to go talk to a psychiatrist.
I can't be a bad guy.
It's tough.
Be a bad guy. I've tried
very,
every
very tough.
game. Like I went out and said, yeah, I'm gonna be a bad guy. I'm just gonna kill random people, be a pirate. Especially with this game, it kind of gives you a real opportunity to be a pirate. Can't do it. Can't do it. It's a big moral conundrum for me.
Yeah, I've been traumatized since Mass Effect series. I did a full Renegade playthrough on the Mass Effect trilogy. Never recovered. They punish you for it, like emotionally. They ruin you. It's bad.
I had a lot of happen. I had some bugs that I had to get fixed, but I'm not going to get into that. Just issues with some of the listing posts, and one of them was because there was 2 listing posts on the same planet, and I went to the wrong one by accident.
Oh, okay.
Never saw that before. And I had an issue with Watchtower components not having enough to restock my Skydrop, so I couldn't shoot anything. There was the mechs I couldn't get taken care of, so what I did is I went back to my ship. I took off the Skydrop, sold it, and bought it again and put it back on and restocked it.
Interesting.
So that's a way to reload it without having to use Watchtower components.
Using your head.
Yeah, so I'm back at to where I was before on my other character now with Wigit. So I have my 3 ships, which I have my Starborn and my 2 created ones. Going out kicking some butt.
I also had issues with Watchtower.
Oh no.
I did. It was obviously something that was going around because I ended up on the Kingath forum, the forum on their website.
Yeah.
Basically, I went into creations and I saw the updates that were available, which include Watchtower. I shoot through the updates, get them all downloaded. All of a sudden it's saying that it can't, basically that the files aren't there to be updated.
Oh.
Like the files of Watchtower are missing entirely. I'm playing on console, so with that going on, and I went into the game, and instead of, I can't remember where I was, I ended up back in New Atlantis on the landing pad with no ship.
Oh no.
No, nothing. The ship tech wasn't there. Like there was like a bunch of stuff that was all bugged out. What I ended up having to do was play around with my load order. And then I eventually had to do a hard reset, reinstall, reorder, and then drop back like 5 or 6 saves. And then finally, it all started working again. So any issues you're having with Watchtower, check out Kingath, the website. They have a forum, and you can probably find the answer there. And they're obviously active on it because Kingath himself had only posted about the issues I was having about a
half hour ago.
Yeah, like it was literally like 34 minutes before I checked the forum. He had just.
That's good. They're keeping on top of it.
Yeah, they're definitely on top of it. So, and then it ended up, cleaning up some other issues. Like I had that issue where the skill tree for ship leadership had the weird requirements.
Okay.
I had a different mod that basically wiped the requirements out as long as I had a skill point. Because I'm a cheater. I don't care.
It's a solo player game, so you're allowed to.
It's a solo.
You're right. You can do it all you want.
Exactly. So, but it had this weird requirement where you had to like destroy a certain number of ships. I don't know what the wording was weird, and I'm not sure what mod did it. But when I had to go through and just clean everything out again, it fixed it. So that was pretty awesome. But obviously that had raised my blood pressure a bit. I decided to take a little bit of a break from Starfield. I'm like, all right. I was like, I gotta take a break from this. It's pissing me off. So I went ahead and I downloaded Elder Scrolls Online.
I wasn't get excited until I saw your notes.
Yeah, some bullshit, dude. I started. I got I made a Nord Dragon Knight.
Dragon Knight's the best.
And yeah, well, I mean, when it comes to, I don't know, because I was tempted to go with what's the other one? the Nightshade. I was like tempted to
Oh,
go with
yeah.
that one. And I'm like, I'm new to the game. I'm probably like, usually when I'm new, I always go for like the tanky characters right off the rip. Cyberpunk, I played a solo. You know, I was just a regular soldier when I started Mass Effect. Like, there's definitely something I gravitate to when I'm new to the game. So I figured Dragon Knight, tanky, swing a sword,
Fire
sweet.
based. Yep.
Yep. So I started the game, and of course you start in some weird prison. You talk to a freaking ghost because Elder Scrolls,
Yeah.
and yeah, then you then you end up with Lyris, the chick that you meet.
Lyris.
As soon as she comes, Lyris, yeah, she comes and busts open the cage, and then you know go running through, and fucking my Xbox kept crashing.
That's heartbreaking.
Three fucking times it crashed. I would go through, I'd be like halfway through the prison. I'm literally like not even out of the tutorial how to hit somebody, right? And all of a sudden my Xbox would crash and I turn it back on and it's sitting on a flat surface. There's nothing around it, nothing on top of it. And it's saying that when the Xbox comes back up, it's saying that there's a feature that automatically shuts the Xbox down if temperature gets too high. There's not proper ventilation. This has never happened to me before.
Elder
It
Scrolls
hasn't happened
Online
since.
is demanding, but that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
that
know.
ship and pilot mod.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It wasn't quite that bad.
It's broke some games.
No, but it's. I was so disappointed because I still wanted to play it. And I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, you know, back into the world of Elder Scrolls, and you know, I was all hyped for it, and it kept crashing my Xbox, and it had to be something with Elder Scrolls Online. If anybody wants to explain it to me, I'm open to listening. But
I've heard this
I went
problem
back to
happening on
Starfield.
Xbox, but I see. I love Elder Scrolls Online. I got so excited for you to play it and experience the
Yeah.
awesomeness that game is, but that's heartbreaking. I'm gonna get you in Fallout 76 at some point too, especially
it's
when
not-
they actually
That's
get
my next-
crossplay.
My next adventure.
Yeah, if crossplay, that'd be better because I really don't have anybody to play with. If I don't know any of our, I know we have a lot of listeners. Nobody really talks about what they play on. If anybody plays on Xbox, either Elder Scrolls Online or Fallout 76, hit us up in the Discord. Hit me up in the Discord. I'd love to play with you, and maybe you can help me figure out what the fuck keeps going wrong with my games. So, anyways, I go back to Starfield, and because I went back a bunch of saves, I ended up having to rebuild my big ship. I posted a picture of it in the Discord. Everybody thought I was
That's
compensating.
also heartbreaking.
I thought that was rude. That was rude.
You're
It
welcome.
turned into a demos build.
I
Yeah.
may have started that. I don't remember.
It was either you or who was the other one that was calendary?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Dogging me about that. That's all right. I am mad. I know what caliber I'm packing. So I ended up rebuilding that ship. And I went around and I collected my crew. I got Betty. I got Gideon. I got Moira. I got Mariska, whatever the hell her name is. I got a few more I have to get. I ended up making a list because I'm like, all right, decide, because there's a limited number of spots. There's a limited number of crew that you have at your disposal unless you want to go into the unnamed crew, which I'm not really into. So I made a whole list and organized who's going to be on what ship by their different qualifications, their different skills and abilities, and what they bring to the ship. Made a whole thing. I have to go. I'm gonna go back and do Shattered Space because there's two, Tane and Samira, who you can get to be part of your ship crew, but you have to play it right. And I don't think I did last time, so I have to go back and try to do that. Other than that, I went back to Stardock, gave Harper my intel. I'm gonna go back and start taking out some arrays, and it was actually really funny because I've been home today. I've been taking care of my wife, and I end up having to. I had the dogs outside, and I'm playing my game at the same time. When the dog starts barking, I get up, I go get my dog, I bring my dog back inside, I go back to my TV, and I can see subtitles from Varun Zealots talking about grav drive is almost destroyed. I'm just sitting there. I jumped into another system. And I realized, I know you're thinking, I just got it from the game. My Final Frontier, with all its turrets, took
Yep.
out like 6 or 7 zealots all on its own. I was just sitting there the whole time. This thing just wrecked all of them. It was amazing. So that was fun. So I'm looking
That
forward
is
to getting
fun.
back into more Watchtower. Yep, that was it. That was my play.
I'm ready to get back into it and get going after, I still got Fallout 76 to play. I think I'm level 37 now. I played an hour and a half this morning, went up 3 levels just like that. No idea how.
Holy cow.
Went up.
Is that doing all your fishing stuff?
I did my daily and then started working on the Rose quest, and I just
Ah.
skyrocketed using a couple lunchboxes, which give you 25% XP boost. All right, we're getting low on time. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up, Metal?
Nothing for me. I just appreciate you guys having me, and it was a fun chat.
Really quick, what have you been doing in game?
Oh God, I wish I could play the game. I spend more time like building ships. Like honestly, what I do is when people submit content to me, if it's not the right picture or not the right angle, I end up rebuilding their ships on my own and taking my own photos. So I can get the right photos. So I rebuild, like everybody submits content and I rebuild it and then take pictures of it. So, but I've been playing Watchtower. I'm like Kilo, so I go overpowered. So I've got all the Matiliga weapons and all the Dark Star weapons, and so I don't even I'm one-shotting ships.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a little bullshit, but got to get in and get my stuff done. And I gotta finish it so I can write about it. So.
There you go.
That makes sense.
Purpose.
Well, that's going to be it for tonight's episode. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. And if you're on YouTube, look for our Linktree information down below in the comments. And we're going to give you for the podcast listeners, we're going to tell you about it all right now. Thank you so much for listening, everybody, and have a fantastic week in the Bethesdaverse.
Peace out.